Sorry, it cut me off, right? That was the blind man, the path he traveled was just acknowledging the things that had been adequately demonstrated to him in an appropriate way. There was nothing extreme about it. It was very subtle, line upon line. And even when he did extreme things, like it's an extreme thing to let a random stranger, if you're a blind person and you're in a city and you're dependent upon the charity of others that you can only encounter in a city, because of the bustle and the number of people and the low percentage that will help you, to let a random stranger lead you way outside of the city to this pool is a huge leap of faith. But given what he had, the evidence he had, that was perfectly appropriate. And his situation, he was blind. What do you have to lose, you know? Like, what, is the guy going to leave you there? You probably have a couple days to make it back to the city, however hard that is, and it won't take you that long. He had nothing to lose. And so often with God, the most extreme things he offers us, in our eyes, they're extreme. The honest response is like, what do you have to lose? What evidence has he ever given you that it's not going to be worth it? When have you ever done anything God told you to do and it wasn't worth it? It's never happened. It's never going to happen. And the ironic thing is the long stuff, the big, like the Hail Mary passes, the huge things we think of as big sacrifices, they never come to people that don't have a whole library of evidence that just makes it the very next thing. He is so patient. He's so patient, and he will never fail you. I wish there's a scene and I'm sorry, this is going to seem irreverent. I don't care. What are you going to clasp onto and grasp for when you're trying to explain things? Don't have words in the human language that exceed the experiences of everyone you know. There's a scene in this cartoon that came out when I was a kid, the Transformers movie, which is a classic for anyone of my generation. But there's this scene where Optimus Prime, he opens up his chest and they had this thing called the Matrix of Leadership. And I don't even know what the heck was supposed to be in there. I made my kids watch this and they didn't find as much value in it as I did. And he hands it to this other guy because he's dying and the other guy's taking over. But maybe it had all the wisdom of their people or his experiences. Somehow it made the person who received it more than they were before. I'm not crying about Transformers, people. I'm crying about Jesus. And when he came and he died for us, he gave us more than we had. He's transmitting something on a level that's so crude, but so holy, because it's the only way we can receive it. And when you see him doing this, when you hear the story of him doing this, it makes you more than you were before, because you say, it's possible to love other people more than I love myself. And he did it. And so I could do it too. So maybe that seems too hard, but at least I can try. At least I can try. And then you try, and then you become better at it. And then he asks you to do more. He shows you that it goes deeper than you thought. You say, well, okay, I can try that too. And you just keep going. And eventually you get to the point where you say, look, I get what's going on here. And I don't know who you are yet, but I get it. I get where this is going. And I understand that the whole point of this isn't the things. It's to get to the point where I get out of your way and I trust you enough that whatever you send, I will see and I will value and I will do, even if I don't yet really comprehend it. And when you do that, when you cease to impede God, and the only impediment is the time you require because of your humanity, he will do mighty things in your life. He will. He will flood you with his power and his love and miracles and all these things that can't be described before you experience it for yourself. So if I could open my chest and give you this, I would do it right now. But if that could be done, he would have already done it. There are things we can do where we stand that he could not do when he stood here. But again, that's because of our limitations. And you could boil it up by saying, well, I won't go there. Please do not react to greater revelations of God by shutting your mouth. Appropriate reactions include thanking God, living what you've been told, and asking questions, particularly asking for more. That's what he wants. When we're satisfied, there's no room for him to give us more. I left off one other appropriate response, which is very important. Share what you've been given with others. It doesn't have to be shared in the same words or in the same form. If you're given a book, you don't have to give someone else a book. Ideas are transmutable. You can just share with them a slice of who you've become because of what you've learned. And I don't mean like, look what I do with this now because I'm different. Although there's a place for that and it's valuable. I mean, once it's up here and in your heart, you can generate things that you might not even be able to trace back to the thing that you were given. But be who you are and live according to what you believe. And that's how you will echo these things through the world. And that's how God can reach everyone, no matter how many limits they have. One of us can get through the cracks. And if we all try to get through all the cracks we're exposed to, we'll get the message across as far as it'll be received by each person, as far as they're willing to accept it. And that's what needs to happen before everything comes crashing down. It'll still be spread once it does, but it will require much greater faith to give and to receive. That's all I'll say about that. So please do not respond to greater revelation of light by being offended or by ghosting, rejecting, ignoring, by just shutting your mouth. Carry it to other people. Live what you've learned. Ask for more. I hope you've found this useful. I have to get to work.